Elevator scene. Xiao Mei was preparing to take the elevator home. A big dark foot got stuck in the door and the elevator doors opened automatically. A woman with a model's figure, but covered in mud, walked in. What is going on? Xiao Mei shrank into the corner, not daring to make a sound. The elevator stopped on the 7th floor. The woman walked out first. Xiao Mei also lived on this floor, so she had no choice but to follow. The knocking. As soon as she turned the corner, she saw the woman knocking on a door. She was knocking on the neighbor's door. The more Xiao Mei looked, the creepier it felt. She quietly sneaked past behind her. Once she got home, she took out her phone, ready to call the police. Just then, the knocking outside stopped. She looked through the peephole/crack in the door. The corridor was empty. The person was gone, so there was no need to call the police. So, de-escalation. Xiao Mei washed up and went to sleep. Who knew that the next day, after coming home from working overtime, she saw that woman again. This time, instead of knocking, she was banging on the door. Terrified, Xiao Mei huddled in the corner, not daring to peek. But in the blink of an eye, the woman vanished into thin air again. Xiao Mei quickly ran back into her home. Just as she was about to drink some water to calm her nerves, a figure actually climbed past her window, climbing straight into the neighbor's house. Immediately after, the sound of smashing things came from the neighbor's house, accompanied by the neighbor's terrified screams. Xiao Mei was so scared, she didn't dare close her eyes all night. Strongly qualified, the safe and the deal. The next day, she saw the neighbor had bought a super large safe. The man bought a huge safe for his home, but it wasn't for storing money. Instead, it was covered in strange talismans. The neighbor stuffed a letter into Xiao Mei's house. Inside the envelope were several large banknotes and a note asking for help. Please come to my house every night before 12 a.m. to lock the safe, and come back after 1 a.m. to open it. Xiao Mei didn't want to agree to this strange request. But looking at the cash in her hand, she eventually surrendered to the superpower, money. The midnight routine. Before 12 a.m., she pushed open the neighbor's door. The neighbor's house was a mess, as if it had been robbed. Seeing the giant safe in the living room, she quickly went up and locked it, then ran out without looking back. When the midnight bell rang, noises came from the neighbor's house again. This time it was a scalp-numbing noise, like fingernails scratching on an iron plate. Xiao Mei waited in fear for an hour. Once the neighbor's house quieted down, she opened the safe as agreed, not daring to look too closely, and quickly ran back home. Then she ran back to her close spy and opened the safe just days before neighbors quieted. Quickly ran back home and quickly ran back home. If that person is already dead, then what she saw was a ghost. Xiao Mei was so scared she didn't dare work overtime anymore and went home early. The next day, Xiao Mei saw a news report in her door again. Thinking this might be a supernatural event, Xiao Mei didn't dare accept the money. She took the money to the neighbor's house to return it. She knocked for a long time, but no one opened. Just as she was about to leave, her wrist was grabbed. The neighbor pitifully begged her for help. Xiao Mei's heart softened, and she agreed. Before 12 a.m., she went to the neighbor's house. Looking at the safe, covered in talismans, she was a bit curious about what was inside. So this time, she opened the door. The neighbor was hiding inside, his body covered in painted talismans. Xiao Mei quickly shut the door and ran out. Things were getting weird. Xiao Mei went home from work absent-mindedly. Who knew she would be electrocuted and knocked out as soon as she reached her door? The girl woke up from the coma and found herself tied up by the neighbor. The neighbor said he wouldn't hurt her, but since she knew his secret, he had to use magic to erase her memory. Just then, the knocking sound started. It was midnight again. The neighbor instantly panicked. Xiao Mei seized the chance to break free and grabbed a knife for self-defense. But the neighbor charged straight at her. He had already mentally collapsed from the woman's harassment, so he simply used Xiao Mei's hand to end his own life. Pause 2:55 to 3:17. Xiao Mei quickly called the police. The police took away the neighbor's body. After an investigation confirmed Xiao Mei acted in self-defense, she was released. But Xiao Mei felt something was wrong the more she thought about it. So she found her best friend, who had ancestral channeling skills. She told her friend everything, and the friend went to the neighbor's house with her to perform a ritual. They saw the truth. Pause 3:18 to 4:06. The truth revealed. It turned out the neighbor was a photographer who often took photos of the model. Over time, he fell in love with her. But the model was talented and soon became famous. She was out of his league. Knowing he couldn't have her, the neighbor decided to go to extremes. He kidnapped the beauty and used witchcraft on her. This caused her to uncontrollably come to his house every night at 12 a.m., letting him do whatever he wanted for an hour. When she woke up, she would forget everything. The plan was seamless, but then the beauty got pregnant. Her boyfriend, who was infertile, thought he was being cheated on and broke up with her immediately. The beauty was heartbroken. She had no idea what had happened. At this point, the neighbor stepped up, offering to be the father. He thought he could take advantage of her vulnerability, but she rejected him. Enraged, the neighbor accidentally pushed her. She hit her head and died on the spot. Guilty, he threw her body into the river. As a result, every midnight, the beauty's soul stubbornly came to his door. The